Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tapobhi Kshina Papanam Shantanam Vitaraginam Mukshunam Apeksho Yamatmabodho Vidhiyate. So we'll start with Nirvana Shatkam. We had this one, the fourth one. Na punyam na papam na saukhyam na dukkham na mantro na tirtham na veda na yajñah aham bhojanam naiva bhojyam na bhokta chidananda rupa shivoham shivoham. So again, furthering his viveka of discriminatory knowledge of negating the anatma. Bhagavad Pada is telling that I am neither the punya nor the papa, the good merit which we derive from performing good karmas, punya, and neither am I the bad effects. That is the bad merit which we get from, or demerit which we get from performing forbidden karmas, the papa. I am neither the punya, neither the nor the papa, neither am I the sukha or dukkha, na saukhyam na dukkham. And then further he elaborates, na mantra, neither am I the mantra, right? Na tirtha, and na tirtham, that is, neither am I the verse in which I am initiated to mantra, tirtha, that is the tirtham here, of course, means both in the pilgrimage tirtha, and also it could mean even Guru Charana is also a tirtha. That is, Guru's holy feet is also the tirtha. Neither am I that, na Veda, na Yajna. Neither am I the Veda, nor am I the Yajna. Just
Guruji, what I'm thinking is, maybe the others also can weigh in. We can assemble for another class when you get well, and it's okay if we skip today. I just wanted to give that option.
I don't know. This thing, thank you for giving the option, but yeah, like, because I've been instructed by Gautam ji for, taking up the class, because too many classes I'm not supposed to miss also. So, I hope you all are fine, right? With my
Yeah, we
class?
are fine. We are fine,
We are
Guruji.
but we are just worried
Yeah.
that
So,
you may be
thanks,
exerting yourself.
thanks for
Yeah.
giving the offer for my considering my health, but uh, let us try doing this.
Okay.
Or else maybe you can wrap it up quickly, So
Okay, and that might be better. Yes.
yeah.
We won't bother you with many questions today. We will just listen.
Yeah, no questions today.
No, sir, madam, please ask your questions.
No, Guruji, I know ours goes up till 1 hour, 1 hour, 30 minutes. So,
Yeah. It keeps
since
going.
you don't want to, meaning we, as Balaji sir said, we are fine to meet another day. But if you still want to take the class, it's fine. But, we'll just leave it to you to talk. But we'll write the questions. We can always ask next class.
Okay. Please, ask the questions. Okay, maybe I'll do one thing. I'll wrap it up by 8 only. I'll not extend it for Q&A and all those things.
Okay.
Thanks. Yeah, sure.
I'll try doing the Q&A also within 8 only. Thank you all for so much
Thank you,
help.
Guruji.
Yeah. So neither am I the sukha dukkha, the sorrow and the happiness. Neither am I the mantra nor the tirtha. Neither am I the Veda nor the yajnas. The yajnas mentioned in the Vedas. So this is again a Upanishadic vakya where once a jnani gets this Atma Jnana, everything becomes an illusionary existence, right? We have seen this. Once a person becomes enlightened, everything he sees as Brahman only. So even say he sees because he is the witness for even the book of physics, right? Any book of physics, any book of science, or any book of literature and maths, he sees that also as a projection of Brahman only. So he doesn't give any individual existence to these things. Likewise, even for Vedas, even for Yajnas, Vedas which contain the supreme truth of this Vedanta Jnana also, they also become illusionary. That's what there's a mantra in Upanishads which says Yatra Veda Aveda. So the state at which even the Vedas become Avedas. That is, they are not uh, source of knowledge, because the ultimate source of knowledge is the Atma only. So at that stage, even Vedas become an illusionary existence text alone. So na yajna, because even yajnas which are mentioned in the Vedas only, Vedas being the Vedokhilo Dharma Moolam. Vedas are the ultimate source of knowledge, and especially for all dharmas. So the yajna yagadi dharmas, which is our Sanatana dharma, that also they also are rendered to be invalid, right? As in illusionary once this person attains jnana. So what sort of jnana? That this Atma is the Brahman. I am Atma, Brahma, Aham Brahmasmi, or Tattvamasi. Na Veda, na Yajnaha. Aham, so he further negates Aham Bhojanam Naiva, neither am I the food, Naiva Bhojyam na, right? Neither am I the process of eating, sorry. Aham Bhojanam Naiva is neither am I the process of eating, nor am I what is being eaten, or the edible food. Na bhokta. Neither am I the consumer of food, neither am I the eater, the person who eats the food. Again, we can see Triputi, which we discussed in the previous class, right? Bhojanam, Bhojyam, Bhokta. I think someone amongst you had messaged that, food, eater of food, the food itself, and the act of eating. These three are same for an jnani, right? They're all nothing but projections of his own Atma. Chidananda Ropaha Shivoham Shivoham. I'm the Chidananda Rupa, I am Shiva, I'm very much Shiva. So this is the Nirvana Shatkam today. Class. Now, please don't hesitate to ask any question just because my voice is like this. So again, as I said, I'll just touch upon the shloka, though I had taken up the shloka the other day. Jnatruk jnana jnaya bhedaha pare natmani vidyate chidanandaika rupatva deepyate swayameva tate. Because this Atma is Chidananda Rupa, right? Even in the Nirvana Shatkam, Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. That's how Bhagavad Pada ends every verse. Chidanandaika Rupatva Deepyate Swayameva Tat. Because this Atma is Chidananda Rupa, it it doesn't require another source of illumination to be seen, because that itself is the source of all illumination. Chidanandaika Rupatva Deepyate Swayameva Tat. It's Swayam Prakasha, right? Even to see an object in a room, we need a lamp. But to see the lamp, we don't need another lamp, right? Likewise, to see everything in this world, to perceive everything in this world, we need the Atman. But to see the Atman, we don't need another Atman or another Prakash, another source of light. We don't need the sunlight or the lamp or anything like that. So Atma is self-illuminating. And also, Jnatruk Jnana Jnaya Bhedaha. This is an important concept in Vedanta. Jnatru Jnana Jnaya Bhedaha. Right? In so long as we don't get this Atma Jnana, we will have this Jnatru Jnana Jnaya Bhedaha, or also known as Triputi. Okay? So, I have put the spelling in, oh sorry, I think I put it only to someone in the group. So Jnatru is the person who is knowing something. So in the world, say we see a chair, right? Chair is the object, and I am seeing the chair. In that case, I am the person who is the seer, observer, right? So I am the Jnatru. Chair is the Jnaya, and the knowledge of chair, that this is a chair. It can be used for sitting. It can be used for, climbing up to reach the ceiling or anything like that. That is the knowledge associated with the chair. That is the jnana. So jnatru jnana jneya, right? Jnatru jnana jneya bheda. This is a fundamental difference which we all perceive so long as we don't have this atmajnana, the self-realization. Jnatru, as I said, is the person who is knowing the object. Jnaya is the object. Jnana is the object, the knowledge of knowing the object. So for a jnani, this bheda itself doesn't exist because he perceives all the three, jnatru, jnana, jnaya, as the self itself. Just a minute. Yeah. Yeah. So jnatru, jnana, jnaya bheda is there only for an ajnani, and for a jnani, this jnatru, jnana, jnaya bheda is not there. That is, he has this jnatru, jnana, jnaya abheda. He doesn't see any difference in all this. The other day I had given example, I had quoted the reference from Lalita Sahasranam also, where Dhyana Dhyatru Dhyaya Rupa is a name of Bhagavati. Likewise, this Jnani sees Atman and sees only the Atman everywhere. So Jnatru Jnana Jnaya, the difference is not at all perceived. Like how in Bhagavad Gita, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavi Hastini Shunischaiva Shvapakecha Pandita Samadarshinaha. This is a shloka which Krishna tells about a jnani. So he says this, he quotes this shloka and tells, for a jnani, because he perceives everything as Atman, when he sees a well qualified sadhu brahmana, right? Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane, right? So when he sees in a well qualified brahmana, and Gavi in a cow, Hastini in an elephant, Shuni, that is dog, and Shwapakecha, one who eats the meat of a dog, right? The Chandala. So when he sees all these different variety available in the world, he sees everything as the same Atman being projected in different forms. He sees the same Atman in everything. Panditaha Samadarshinaha. He sees everything in a uniform manner. Though the forms are different, he sees the uniformity in the Atman itself, which is very much his own Atman. So at one end, he has a well qualified scholar, right? A Brahmana. On the other end, he has Shwapaka, one who eats one who eats the meat of a dog. So the whole range of, and in between, cow, right? Slightly sattvic an animal, an elephant, a rajasic animal, right? Then uh, Shunihi, that is dog, a tamasic animal. So these three, everything has got encompassed in whatever he has told. There is a jnani, if he sees another jnani, the sattva, rajas, tamas, right, the guna of the prakriti of the nature, and also that Mahatapas, that is the person who eats the meat of the dog, right? The Chandala. So whenever he sees either of them, he sees only the Atman. He doesn't see the form of these people and doesn't get distracted from his Atmajnana. So another example which is quoted in Panchadashi and even Sadashiva Brahmendra in some of his works is imagine a person, a man who takes part in a drama, in a theatrical drama wherein he has to play the role of a woman, right? So he goes. It is his duty to act. He loves acting, so he goes and takes up acting. And while acting, you know, even during the acting, like say he might have to act pregnant in the drama which is acting, right? And he might have to undergo the labor pain, everything. Even during the time of acting, he knows that he is not a woman, right? And though he might be wearing the costume attire of a woman, right? He might be behaving like a woman, he might be talking like a woman, everything is, he might, change his voice, like how my voice has changed anyway. So he might try to change his voice to make it more feminine, everything. But even at that stage, he has not forgotten that he is a man, right? And even after the end of the drama, when he goes back to the costume room, changes his costume back to his old costume, he doesn't get the feeling that, okay, from now on, I am a man. Likewise, a jnani, he always knows that he is the Atman, right? He doesn't require, like, it's not like when he is in the samsara, for some time he forgets that he is the Atman. No, he always knows that he is Atman. Like how this person, when he enters the drama theater on the stage, he doesn't forget immediately that he's a man, right? He still knows that he's a man. Likewise, this jnani knows that he's a he's the Atma only. He's not the Sharira. Though in the worldly, the day-to-day transaction, he appears like how this man appears as a woman. This jnani appears as though he doesn't know this knowledge, right? And he behaves in such a manner only with others. So he doesn't tell that everything is Brahman, so I'll not go to office and I'll not work and all those things. He will just do his work, but he will not have the attachment of I to anything which he is doing, because he knows that the act of doing the action, the karma itself is not there for the Atma, right? Avikriya, we saw in Atma Bodha also. And also neither does he, after some time, say after retirement or after his death or something like that, he doesn't want, there's no expectancy from such an event that after that event only he'll be a jnani, because he knows that he's always a jnani. Like how this person doesn't require, after going to the costume room, after removing his costume, he doesn't, re-establish himself as a man. He always knows that he was a man. He was just acting for a brief period of time. Likewise, this jnani also acts for a brief period of time, but is uh, always immersed in his atmajnana. So this he is immersed in his atmajnana because he doesn't have this jnatru jnana jnaya bheda. He perceives the seer, seeing, and the act of seeing as very much the Atman only. Yeah, so we'll move to the next question. And then so next sloka. एवम् आत्मारणो ध्यानमथने सततं कृते उदिता अवगतिर्ज्वाला सर्वज्ञानेन दहेत्. So in this sloka, Bhagavad Acharya tells that in this manner, right? Evam. I think I missed one question. Yes, it is. Yeah, it is Triputi. I think someone has, Ranjini madam has put this. Yeah, I think if you all can see the chat, Triputi madam has, sorry, Anjani madam has put the spelling of Triputi, and I'm unable to copy it and put it here for some reason. So, yeah. So in this manner, the above mentioned shlokas, Atmarano Dhyanamatane Satatam Krute. Right? This here, I want to show a video to you people. So, yeah. So, I hope you all can see my screen.
Yes, Guruji.
So, what you can see here is a video of how fire is generated using two pieces of wood. Right? Can you see that there? This is called
Yes.
Yeah.
Agnimat.
you
Yeah.
churn the fire by that instrument called arani, right? There's an upper piece of wood and a lower piece of wood. This is how, yeah, okay. Right. And by rigorous churning, fire is a small piece of fire is generated, or ember is generated, and that ember is put on cotton, coconut, you know, the fiber of the coconut and all those things, and then it's converted into big fire. Even to this day, in many way, Vedokta Shrauta Yagas, this this is the procedure adopted for generating fire. So that instrument which we saw, the wood, the two woods up and down, they're together called the arani. Okay, because not many of you would have seen this. That's why I shared the video with you. It's a very common sight if you have seen any Shrauta Yagas. So that is called arani, right? And then the upper stick which is being churned is the uttararani, and the bottom piece of wood on which the fire is generated is called the adhararani. Uttararani, adhararani, right? So Bhagavad Padacharya is giving this example of arani, evam, atma aranau, right? In such a manner, contemplating on such a manner, in the atma aranau, in the arani pair of atma, that is the manas being the uttararani and the antahkarana, right, being the adhararani, dhyanamatane satatam krute. Through continuous contemplation, like how they do this continuous rigorous churning, we should do this continuous rigorous dhyana. Okay, that is the uh, process of churning. Dhyana is or contemplation is the process of churning. Adatam krute, continuously when you do it, udita avagatir jwala, like how fire is produced in the tarani by churning. Likewise, this avagati, that is by this atmajnana, the fire, the fire of atmajnana is generated. Udita avagatir jwala, sarva ajnanena in ajnanen ne sarva sarva ajnana indhanam dahet. So by such a fire, all this ajnana, the incorrect perception, the incorrect knowledge is burnt out, like how fuel is burnt out by this fire generated of the arani, right? How the coconut and cotton, everything, they they're consumed by fire. Likewise, this atmajnana is uh, also consumes this ajnana, like fire, and burns it out. So there is also one Brihadaranyaka Upanishad mantra which says that uh, oh yeah, sorry. That okay, it is a part of that is uh, Tesham Adityavat Jnanam Prakashayati Tatparam. So that is also borrowed in Bhagavad Gita. Yes, the full shloka in Bhagavad Gita is Jnanena tu tadajnanam yesham nashitam atmanah tesham adityavat jnanam prakashayati tatparam. So in the 5th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, this shloka is there. So Brihadaranyaka Upanishad also mentions this. So this Atmajnana is thus destroys all forms of ignorance. That's what this shloka is trying to tell. Do we have any doubts? Oh yeah, we have. So dhanyavad. Again, Aruneneva bodhena purvam santumase hrate tatah avirbhavedatma swayamevamshumaniva. Like how the first rays of sun in the morning, right, around 5:30, the sunrise is at 6, around 24 minutes before that, 1 Ghatika Kala, we get the first rays of sun, right? How that itself will immediately remove all the darkness, right? And then sun will come up automatically, right? There's no other effort required by the nature or by us. Similarly, tataha avirbhaveed atma swayamevamshumaniva. Right? So likewise, the sun, the atma also rises out from this smallest thing called the atma jnana. Like how through a small ray of sunlight, the whole sun can come and all the ajnana is destroyed, all the darkness is destroyed. Likewise, this through this small atma jnana, the small ray of light called atma jnana, this whole darkness called ignorance, the ignorance called darkness will be destroyed, and this atma will arise out. This is the next shloka. Yeah, in Shvetashvatara Upanishad, for the previous shloka, there is another mantra. For this Atmaranam, right? For the Arani example, Atmanam Aranim Krutva Pranamam Chottaranim Dhananim Nirmathanabhyasat Papam Dahati Panditaha. So make this Antakarana as your Adhararani, right? The base wood, and then Pranavam Chottaranim, right? The Omkara. The Pranava as the Uttararani. Jnanam Jnana Nirmathana Abhyasat, through this continuous churning of jnana, papam dahati panditaha. This, that is, this jnani will destroy the ignorance through this journey. This is the Shetashvatara Upanishad, and that was the mantra which I had. And for this, nothing. Anyway, this is also done. Atma tu satatam praptaha अप्राप्य प्राप्तवद अविद्यया तन्नाशे प्राप्तवद भाति स्वकंठा भरणम यथा. So for this, yes, this is a very famous Vedantic example. That is Grivagatahara or Kantakata Jami Karanyaya, they say. So this I'll have to narrate a small story associated with this Nyaya. A person, has a golden necklace, golden chain which he has worn. He goes out of his house to a mela, or to a big feast or a big gathering of people. He goes there, spends some time, speaks with people, purchases few things for his house, and then comes back. As soon as he comes, he feels that he's lost his chain, gold chain somewhere. So he runs back to the gathering where he went. He searches in all the places, even in the place, even in the path which he took to the gathering. Also, he doesn't find the chain at all. Then when he comes back home, when he returns home, sorry, he's still worried that he's lost his chain, and he's searching everywhere inside the house. Whether he left it in the house before going, or did he wear it at all? So he has all these doubts. So he keeps searching. Then his wife looks at him and says, "It's there in your neck. Go and just check in the mirror." Right. So when he goes to the mirror, and then he sees his chain there. Right. He's so happy that he has found his chain back. Now, what happened in this? This is a very common incident which happens to all of us, right? I mean, most of us, you know, we have our spectacles on and we keep searching for spectacles. Right? We have our watch and we keep searching for our watch. Yeah. I think Srividya madam has pointed out, yes, yeah, same thing. Yeah. So now, what has happened? This person knew that he had the gold chain on himself. He just didn't know that it was there, right? He didn't acknowledge that. He thought he had lost it somewhere and he went and searched for everything. For this everywhere, for this chain everywhere. Now, through this Guru's Vakyopadesha, Guru being his wife in this case, he went and saw his own reflection, and then there he found the thing which he was searching for. Right? Likewise, so this essence of the story is, I think, if I'm right, in Swami Ramakrishna has pointed out in his works, that the running was required to realize that the running was not required. Okay. All this hanky panky where he went in search of the chain was required. Otherwise, if he had not mentioned to his wife that, he had lost his chain and that's what he's searching for, he wouldn't have mentioned this if he found that chain in the mela or somewhere in the gathering, right? Because he came back and then his wife sees his chain, then she points that out. That's how he got to know that he got back his chain. So the chain was never lost anywhere. Chain was very much on his own neck. Is that he didn't see it. Likewise, this Atma Jnana, Atma itself, is something which is there, right? Through that Atman only we are seeing the whole world. But because we see the Dvaita because of our Ajnana, we find so much multitude, we feel that we have lost it and we have to struggle and get back to it, right? Or achieve it. So Atma tu sadatam praptaha apraptya praptavad avidyaya. Right? To like how this person, without knowing that he had with like having the incorrect knowledge that he doesn't have the gold chain, he goes and searches the chain everywhere. So Atma tu satatam praptaha. Atma is also like the chain which is always available for him. Right? Even though it is like that, apraptavad avidyaya. Even though this chain was always there with him, he felt that he has lost the chain because of the incorrect knowledge that he might have lost it in the gathering. If this avidya is lost, like how the wife tells that it's on your neck, very much, tannashe praptavad bhati, right? He feels that he has got, right? Whereas he had never lost it to get it back, right? Likewise, this Atma Jnana, Atma is also never lost for us to get it back. It's always there, always present. Swakantha bharanam yatha. Right? This is the meaning of this shloka. Here again, this a small deviation from this is in Srimad Bhagavatam, when Krishna in his childhood starts to eat mud, right? The soil, everything. He's playing around. All his friends go and complain to Yashoda, his mother, Yashoda, telling that Krishna is eating mud and all dirt and all things which should not be eaten. Somehow come and ensure that he doesn't eat. Yashoda runs, right? No, she's worried that her son should not, nothing should happen to her son. She has actually forgotten that her son is only the Paramatma. Anyway, she runs out of genuine concern and then she shouts at Krishna, "Why are you eating mud?" So Krishna says, no, I haven't eaten mud. Then again the Yashoda tells that, no, your friends have told me, and it looks like you're eating mud because you're sitting on a floor of mud. So how can you assure me that you're not eaten mud? Open your mouth. If you're that confident that you haven't eaten mud, open your mouth. Krishna widens his mouth, and then he shows the whole Brahmanda, whole universe in his mouth to his mother. For a brief moment of time, this Yashoda gets this Atma Darshana, right? She gets the Paramatma Jnana, Atma Jnana, in the mouth of her own son, whom she considers him to be the closest to himself, to herself, and has a lot of vatsalya, right? A lot of the feeling of motherhood, the lot of concern, care for the child. So she questions him that fashion, but she gets this Atma Jnana, right? Uh, there's one, like, whatever you go and ask, pray to God, you get that, right? But one person, a devotee, went and asked, Hey Bhavani, it's a sloka in Soundarya. Hey Bhavani, give me this. Bhavani means Devi, right? You give me this. Hey Bhavani, give me this. Or rather, hey Bhavani, I am your servant. Like that, something like that. You give me this and this. But to tell that in Sanskrit, he tells Bhavani Tvam, right? Bhavani, you do this or do that for me. But Bhavani Tvam is also in Sanskrit, it means may I become you in Sanskrit. So he accidentally asks for this Atma Jnana also, and he gets this Atma Jnana. This is a shloka in Saundarya Lahari which Bhagavad Padacharya has composed. So Yashoda, she's gone with the concern that her child should not eat mud, but she gets this Atma Jnana itself for a brief period of time. That is also like this only, that when we are concerned about something else, right? It may be some worldly matter, but when that concern is so genuine, like how Yashoda's love to the child was so genuine, you might get this Atma Jnana also. That could, it's not necessarily that, only through concern of something else you get, but the concern should be as genuine, like how Yashoda was concerned. Another example is how Kamsa, he loathed Krishna. He was fearful of Krishna. He didn't want Krishna's existence to be there at all, right? In that process, he started hating Krishna so much that he was worried that, moment any piece of information of Krishna, he used to try to destroy that existence of Krishna through that piece of information. He got information that Krishna is in Nanda Gokula, so he started sending asuras, Putana and so many other asuras to kill Krishna, but he didn't succeed. Then when he brings Krishna to Mathura with Akrura, so he gives all sorts of tries all sorts of contraptions to kill Krishna. He arranges for a mad elephant, makes the Dhobi to attack Krishna. So many incidents happen in Krishna's life. But at all this moment, he's worried only about Krishna, only about the existence of Krishna. That itself, when Krishna finally kills Kamsa, gives him this Atma Jnana. So, and even Shishupala, he hated Krishna so much. So he hated Krishna so much that he started abusing Krishna. So even in that abuse, every moment he was thinking of Krishna. How can I abuse him better? How can I make fun of him better? How can I insult him better? So because he was still worried about Krishna, the fact that he was insulting or abusing kept aside, he still wanted to think of Krishna so that he can abuse him better, right? He used to quote different examples. In spite of that, when Krishna, kills him in the Rajasuya Yaga conducted by Yudhishthira, Shishupala attains moksha. That's the story there. So through whatever mechanism, yes, Ranjini madam has given that sloka of Soundarya. Thank you very much. Bhavani tvam dase mai vitra drishtim sakaruna miti. Sotam vanchan kathayati. But that you can, anyone who is interested in the sloka, the 22nd sloka, you can read this sloka. So whoever wants this Atmajnana genuinely, that person will always get this Atmajnana. So finishing with that, I'm moving to the next sloka. Sthano Purushavat Brantya Krita Brahmani Jivata Jivasya Tatvike Rupe Tasmin Drishte Nivartate. Okay. This is again another example used in Shastras. Sthano Purushavat Bhranti. You see a pillar, you see a post, okay, in the darkness, and you think that it's a man, right? And because the pillar is heavy built, we feel that this man is also heavy built. He might come and attack us. The darkness. This can happen to some of us, right? We may see an electric pole and we may feel that it's someone approaching, right? Or even a common example is we may feel that it's a tree, but it might be an electric pole, and it can maybe go near electric during rains, and then that we may get electrocuted and all those things. These days we may have such bhrantis, such misconceptions. Anyway, in the Shastra, this Thano Purushavat Bhranti is one type of Bhranti, one type of misconception where we see a pillar and perceive it to be a man, and we are worried that that man should not come and attack us. Likewise, in this Brahma, in this Parabrahma, we have the misconception of Jiva. Brahmani Jivat. Krita Brahmani Jivat. Like how the inactive, the actionless pillar, we are ascribing qualities of with action man, right? Likewise, in the actionless Brahman, we are giving we are superimposing the Jiva, and we feel that Jiva is something existent, confined, limited, and that's doing all the action. Jivasya Tatvike Rupe. When you go to the Paramarthika sphere, when you go deeper and dig inside, you'll find that Jivas, there's no existence of Jiva at all. Jiva is, what you're referring to, Jiva is nothing but the Atman, which is the Brahman only. There's no independent entity called Jiva. Right? Tasmin Drishte Nivartate. Right? As soon as you see this Atma, you'll realize that the Jiva is also not there. So this here again, quoting back the Yashoda and Krishna showing his mouth on it. Likewise, even Prahalada, because of his deep Atmajnana, he could see God in everything which he could see this Paramatma, he could see the Atma in everything which he saw. Right? Like how Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavi Hasini, that example which he saw, Ajnani perceives everything in a similar fashion as his own Atma. Prahlada also could see everything as his own Atma. Now, for Hiranyakashipu, he wanted to see this, he somehow wanted to destroy Vishnu, right? So he wanted to find out where Vishnu is, or where this Atman is. So he asked his son that because you're perceiving Atma everywhere, where do you perceive this Atma? Is this Atma there in this pillar? Right? So Prahlada replies, yes, the Atma is there even in pillar. Everywhere it's there. So everything is very much this form of this Paramatma. So he gets angry, and because he wants to destroy Vishnu at all costs, he wants to destroy this Paramatma at all costs, he wants himself to be the ruler of the whole world. So he doesn't like any other person ruling this world. So because his son is proclaiming that Vishnu, the Paramatma, is the only thing which is ruling the whole world, he goes ahead to break the pillar. So he takes his gada, his mace, and destroys the pillar, breaks the pillar. From that arises Lord Narsimha. We all know this story. Right? And Lord the Bhagwan takes the avatar of suitable enough to kill Hiranyakashipu, who had the boon of, should not be killed by a man, neither by a man nor by an animal. So he took in form of half man and half lion, right? And then he further comes out of pillar. So this person should neither be born out of any womb nor should be born out of any egg. So the Lord took an avatar in the pillar, was born out of a pillar, right? So what all Prahlad, Hiranyakashipu had put conditions, right? Neither should he die in the day nor in the night, neither inside the house nor outside the house. Every condition was fulfilled, right? He was neither on the ground or above the ground. So he was slayed on the. He was kept on the knees of thigh of Lord Narsimha because he should not be killed by any weapon or any missile sort of astra or shastra. The Lord uses his own nails as a weapon, and it happens during the dawn, right? Uh, during the dusk, sorry, when the evenings just is about to begin. So neither in the day nor in the night, and also every other thing like uh, what was the other one which I just mentioned? Sorry. Uh, yeah, neither above the ground. Yeah, I told that. Right? Uh, he was killed by keeping on the lap of Hiranyakashipu. So how this Brahman, not inside or outside? Yes, yes. Thank you, Srividya madam. Yeah. So at the doorstep of Hiranyakashipu's palace, he was killed. Thank you. So this also in every boon which Hiranyakashipu asks, he is actually asking for that Paramatma only. He gets it in such a manner. He wants to see this Paramatma in the pillar. Prahlada doesn't want to see Paramatma in the pillar because he knows that pillar is also a form of this Paramatma. But he wants to see if that Paramatma is there in the pillar, I'll kill the Paramatma. That's how Hiranyakashipu's thinking was. So he sees the Lord coming out and he tries to kill, but of course the Lord himself kills him. The Lord himself kills this Ajnana, where you think that everything is different from God. And the Lord protects the one, Prahlada in this case, who thinks that everything is nothing but a form of God. So who has this Bhranti that everything is different from the Paramatma, he has the misconception of this Thanu Purusha. Right? He sees the pillar and perceives it as a man. Like because he sees the Brahma, Parabrahma, and then mis- has the misconception that it's a Jiva, confined, limited object. So uh, I think I'll stop here because the next section is slightly different, and I'm open for any questions. We have some time left, 8 minutes left.
Guruji, I just had one question, although I didn't want to ask. But in the sloka 42, you had mentioned the Uttarayani and the other one, right? Where the
Arani.
churning, one
Yeah.
is the Manas and Antakarni.
Yes. Arani.
Arani. Okay. Yeah. So first one is, so we have to contemplate and churn out. And the first one, Uttarayani, you said it is similar to Manas, right? So Manas would be Buddhi here? Buddhi or intellect, or what is Manas?
Manas, the mind, madam.
Mind. Okay. And the other one?
The other one is the bottom one, the base Arani is uh, the Antakarana, the Jiva, which you perceive as an independent entity.
That is the ego. Can I call it as ego? No.
No, madam, not the ego. The jiva itself.
Jiva itself. Okay.
It's
Okay,
the
sir.
internal apparatus which we have. The uh the one the Sukshma Sharira which we saw, right? The
Yeah,
one
yeah,
jumps to the other Sharira.
correct.
So, yeah, but then in Sukshma Sharira you have the Pancha Vayu, Pancha Indriya, and Pancha Karmendriya, Pancha Jnanendriya and all. Leave out all this, and what you have is the Antakarana.
Okay, got it. Okay. Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, Sridharan ji and Sri Vidya ji. Thank you for your wishes. Yes, I think Udupi sir has, Harishan sir has.
So, Guruji, just to extend that question that was just asked. So, the manas is the mind, which is also part of the same antakarana.
Antakarana, yes.
That is used to churn in the in this inner apparatus, right? Which has manas buddhi. So basically, the mind is where, I mean, to separate the two out. One is the mind, which is part of those four entities, or it has a different meaning.
So here, yes, it has the Uttarani. The top one is the mind, which which is used. I mean, which is distinct from the other three entities. But all the four entities put together is the bottom line.
Okay.
Because these four Antakarana, which are called collectively the Antakarana, that's what makes us believe that we are we are different from the Paramatma. And mind is sort of all the more supporting, acting conducive to that. So we have to churn out the mind, and then like how while making butter, though in this example cannot be related directly, but anyway, to churn we have the churner, right? And we are churning the curd. But then the action of churning is happening on the curd only. It's not happening on the wooden churner or the metal churner, right? So somehow the curd has to be churned. So say there's many people we use we put thick curds in in a small bottle, plastic bottle, and then just shake it around. So the action of churning should happen in the curd only. Only then butter will come out of curd. Likewise, the exercise of this Atma Jnana should happen in the Antakarana only, and especially to the mind, because that is what is enforcing the duality upon us. So the mind has to be churned around to remove this duality.
Okay. Dhanyavad.
I hope I'm clear.
And in the example that you gave about Shishupala and Kamsa, there, whether they, like Prahalada or Yashoda Mata, where they are, they want to be one with Bhagavan. Here they actually hate Bhagavan. But yet, because Bhagavan is the consistent thought, whether they wanted to be one or separate from him, or separate in the sense destroy him, both lead to their liberation. Is that how?
Yeah, so God is like the Paramatma, or this thing. Atma is like fire. Even if a grown-up man like me goes and touches fire, I'll be burnt. Even if a small child goes and touches it, it will not show any concern that it's a small child, and it will not burn the child. It will burn the child also. Likewise, this jnana is uniform. The Paramatma is uniform. Just that these people approached this Paramatma either through love or through hatred, and they got it. Now we have, I mean, in all other people's case, in our case, we are neither loving this Atma so much like Yashoda, neither are we hating this Atma so much like Shishupala or Kamsa. So, moment we have such an deep longing for being with the Atman or being separated from the Atman, only then we will get this Atma Jnana. This is just metaphorical. Okay, ultimately you cannot hate your own Atma, right? Even in Prahlada, in Kamsa, Hiranyakashipu, all their cases, because they perceived that there is something else apart from their self, which is more powerful, they wanted to destroy that. Even at that moment, they felt that their self is the most powerful. So they were also actually in tune with this Atma. So they were not, they were not telling that I don't want the Atma to be super powerful. They felt that their own Atma is most powerful. They wanted to challenge every other authority which can stand up against their Atma. Which is why they went to destroy Paramatma in any form, but they couldn't do it because they had fundamentally forgotten the difference of Paramatma being the Atman only.
Dhanyavad. And wish you speedy recovery, Guruji.
Thank you, sir. And thank you, Pramodini Madam, Lalita Madam, Sanjeev Sir, Srividya Madam, and Sridharan Sir. So, thank you for your message.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji.
Dhanyavada,
Wish you
Guruji.
speedy recovery.
There's a question. Can we think of Uttararani as the knowledge used to churn? The knowledge used to churn is the act of the churning, madam.
Okay. So I'm just getting a little confused when you're saying the Uttararani is the Manas and then the other Arani is the entire
Antakarana.
Manas, Antahkarana, everything. So I'm trying to differentiate that. That's where I was asking you. Can we think of it as the knowledge that you're using?
Yeah,
to
what
churn?
you told that Uttararani can be used as a knowledge, being compared to knowledge, that is used in elsewhere in another shloka also. Right? Even in Bhagavata, Krishna, I think I told the story in the beginning, first few classes. So, the cleaning the manas, that time we'll have to clean it with Atmajnana.
Okay. Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you. Vidya Vinaya Sampannam Vitaragam Vivekinam Vande Vedanta Tattvagyam Vidushekhara Bharatim.
Dhanyavada, Guruji.
Dhanyavad, Guruji.
Get well soon.
Thank you. I hope.
Thank you.
Dhanyavada, Guruji.
Yeah.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಗುರುಜಿ.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ.
Shubhodaya. Dhanyavada.
ಶ್ರೀರಾಮ್.
Thank you.